Beginning with a Tunisian man burning himself to death in December 2010 to protest his treatment by police, to Moammar Gadhafi's death at the hands of Libyan rebel fighters, the fury of discontent with autocrats and the wave of change throughout North Africa has been historic.
Now, on today's In Focus, we'll take an in-depth look at some of the key issues involving human rights and war crimes when violent revolts take place. Deposed Libyan leader Moammar Gadhafi went from being an indicted war criminal by the International Criminal Court to an alleged victim of a war crime, and now there are investigations underway into how he was killed. In late June, Libyan leader Moammar Gadhafi was slapped with an International Criminal Court indictment for crimes against humanity for the violent way he responded to Libyans calling for his ouster. On announcing the warrant of arrest, ICC prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo said the evidence against Gadhafi, his son and brother-in-law was solid.
The prosecution has applied to pre-trial chamber 1 for the issuance of arrest warrants against Moammar Mohamed Abu Mwakalyelye Gadhafi, Saif al-Islam Gadhafi, and Abdullah al-Sanusi.
But the incident following Gadhafi's capture in his hometown of Sirte last month by rebels aided by NATO forces has tainted the mood of Libyans and thousands others who are otherwise happy to see Gadhafi's 42-year-old dictatorship crumble. Now, images of a bleeding Gadhafi being dragged alive through the streets, beaten, allegedly sodomized, and eventually killed with bullet holes to the head and chest have resulted in worldwide condemnation of Gadhafi's treatment. Though one of the rebels has claimed responsibility for killing Gadhafi, Libya's National Transitional Council is under pressure from human rights groups and the international community to fully investigate possible crimes against humanity committed against Gadhafi and some of his supporters. Some point to the violation of the Third Geneva Convention of 1929 pertaining to the rights of prisoners of war. State Department official Victoria Nuland says the U.S. does not support the killing.
We have called for a full investigation. We've also called for no reprisal, no vigilante justice, as the TNC itself has called for.
While not all Libyans voice support for Gadhafi's brutal killing, some see his death as proper justice for the countless killing and torture of which he himself has been accused. Meanwhile, in the international community, many say the rebels should have allowed Gadhafi to answer for his alleged crimes in a court of law. South Africa's President Jacob Zuma says the wheels of justice were already turning, especially with the ICC indictment.
Those who would have found him would have known that given the allegations against him, perhaps the most acceptable route would have been to arrest him and hand him over.
Program Outreach Director Mwiza Mtali of Trans-Africa Forum says the killing of Gadhafi by rebels only adds to the controversy that surrounds the overthrow of his regime.
It's already troubling the manner in which he was removed, and for a lot of people, there are a lot of questions about how the Western powers, the NATO forces were engaged. So now this adds a lot of fuel to a lot of people's anxieties, and so this will be addressed quickly.